4-time major champions, Intel Grand Slam winners of Season 1, the highest earning esports pros in CS, and an arguable GOAT contender on their roster. A legendary organization now on the edge of financial ruins. Astralis. My name is Bert Burnington. I make Counter-Strike and esports content. I love talking about Counter-Strike, and if you do too, then please comment down below so we can talk some more about whatever you want to talk about. I'm always down. No jersey today because this is a serious topic and I want to be prepared for Astralis' potential funeral. But before we get into that, I want to show how far Astralis have fallen ever since. Astralis was once the undisputed best team of all time, or how Sadicus puts it,
the best of all fucking time!
Where's he been?
Wait till I go 100%, you fuck!
Oh yeah, right. But that was 2018. That is 9 years ago. And instead of winning 4 majors, they didn't qualify for 4 majors in a row. You know how much sticker money that is? A lot. So how is this legendary organization looking today? I will answer that question in 2 parts. 1, the team's level with the expensive roster they have. And 2, how much money do they have left? Alright, from the best of all effing time, we had Zonic, Zipex, Dupree, Magus, Glaive, and Device. To the present day lineup with Ruga, Stare, Stown, Yabby, Cadian, and Device. Not a bad lineup, eh? Right? As a quick wake-up call, but this is gonna scare you, because the last playoffs game Astralis have won was IEM Cologne 2023, and only recently have they beaten the Mongols in a playoffs game, which is not impressive because the Mongols just capitulated in playoffs, guys. So they didn't win a playoffs game in 567 days. All 5 players are top 10 players in Denmark right now. If you want to see a ranking of the top 10 best players of every European country, subscribe down below. And I can tell you, Astralis spent a lot of money on these players. Way too much money. More about that later. But this team is just not clicking and nothing seems to work. Since their inception with the new IGL in the form of Cadian, this team went from top 18 to top 12 in 3 months. Which is not impressive because all of these players should be easy top 10. And also this organization should be gunning for top 5. And one of my lovely subscribers sent in a letter saying, why is Astralis so shit? Is problem because Cadian? And I say, no, I don't think so. In my opinion, this team went wrong the moment they created it. And I think it's the people in charge and the organization that are at fault. A common thread, you will learn. In the IEM Katowice play-ins, where they lost to MIBR, which is terrible because even MIBR wasn't even happy with the results and they made changes soon after. But in the lower bracket they had to go against FlyQuest. Easy win, you might think. Well, you will be correct, but not for Astralis. Their map pool is so fragile that they had to pick Train as their map pick. That shows you has no confidence in your map pool because there's no one has any data on it. And they even lost it to FlyQuest. In this match and all the other matches, Cadian bottom frags. And can you blame Cadian's poor performance? Not really. He's been castrated ever since he had to give up the AWP to Device, which makes sense. Because why would you take the AWP away from Device? But then, why did you give him? Why did you put him in this team then? That's what I'm talking about. Cadian doesn't spill any blood on the server, and the only red he sees is his ratings. The biggest organization in Denmark picks you up, and can you say no? Not really, you have to take it. So you literally only have Cadian for his calling, which is not going great at all, because you don't have the pieces of a normal Cadian system, which is him on the AWP. Everything looks disjointed, and nobody knows where to go. And the worst of all, they have these boring black-white jersey like every fucking other team. Just get more creative. I like the last one, why do you do this? What is it? Alright, so, I don't know, just boring, you know? Who cares? Anywho, then we have Device. Especially, he seems lost. And maybe not even lost, he seems like he's already checked out. And watching the matches, it seems like he does whatever he wants, and he just doesn't listen to any of Cadian's calls and always is on his own island. Which kind of makes sense, like why would he listen to Cadian? Like he's the better AWPer, he's been under better IGLs and coaches, he's a 4-time major winner, while Cadian only lost a major against James Virtus Pro. Yeah, good point. Cadian seems to have his hands full with all the 3 players that don't know where to go. So, like, why? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. And the worst thing about Device is you can't build on him. And you never know if he's going to sit out a big event. Because, like, look at the Perfect World Major. The biggest tournament of the year, which shows that he can sit out any event at any time. Also, at PGL Cluj-Napoca, he got sick in his match against FaZe in the 3rd place decider. Does it have to do with his underlying illness? Well, I can't say it, I don't want to say, but Cadian said that he had to puke, so maybe, could be food poisoning too, but still, it's a bit suspicious. multiple people and Counter-Strike pundits, including present company, have suggested that it's maybe time for Device to retire, because he can't go to the biggest tournaments anymore. And that is a huge piece to lose. He's the most popular player in Denmark. He is the best AWPer in Denmark. He's an arguable GOAT. He looks like Tom Cruise. And he's worth a pretty penny. And more about that later. And then lastly, we have their coach, Rugge. I don't know how this guy got the gig to be the coach of the biggest team in Denmark. He has done nothing of note in the last 6 or 7 years. He's been the coach of Astralis for 1 year. The worst year that Astralis have had in history. He was the coach of OG for 4 years, in which they did exactly, absolutely nothing. And the only reason why he could stay there is because OG is the most uninspiring, complacent org in Counter-Strike history, and Rugge has been there for all of it. And before that, he coached the Optic Danish project, which went nowhere and had incredible players too. Casper Rugge do, more like Casper Rugge do to retire.
Pokemon go to the polls.
Got him. So how did this guy get the job? Because he's Danish and because they have tried every single coach under the sun that is Danish, including cheaters. Another fun fact, they hadn't beaten a European team in 2025 until they beat SAW halfway through February at the PGL Cluj-Napoca, which were a dead team, alright? So they didn't do anything. It's ugly, this team. And now we're gonna look at how much money this team cost and how much money the Astralis organization has been hemorrhaging. Well, we're gonna calculate that in part 2. How much money do they have left? Wait. Alright, I'm ready. So how much money did Astralis lose over these last few years? I'm gonna calculate that. It's gonna be a bit ambivalent, but I think some guesses could be quite close to reality. So stick around. In this part of the video, we're gonna try and calculate how much money they have been losing over the last few years by way of transfers, salaries, and whatever, you know, and fines actually, now that I think about it, because they have had those too. I'm only gonna look at the big moves, the like transfers and big salaries of big players. I'm not gonna look at all the small signings and academy players and everything. That's all peanuts, and you know, that's already a telltale sign that things are not great at Astralis. But I will show you how bad things really are. Let's start with the transfers. If you can remember, the Astralis superstar got sold to NIP in April of 2021 for $700,000 of which Device paid up to $130,000 just to pay himself out of his own contract. That is how bad he wanted to leave from Astralis. So the organization actually made $700K. Not bad. But after Device's NIP stint, Astralis bought him back for $600,000. So they made a little bit of money and they got their player back. Not bad. But he's been there for 2 years, and Device, he gets a considerable salary. There's always numbers are floating around about the salaries. Semi-pros making like 10K. The FaZe players probably making like 25,000, if not more. I am gonna just estimate that Device makes at least 20K. I think more. I believe actually quite north of 20,000. But just to not overly inflate the numbers and just to get a rough estimate and still feel like, yeah, that's a real number. 20K over 2 years of salary comes down to 500,000. Then they signed Stair from Sprout after failing to get him previously. How much money did they pay for him? We don't know, though Jackson reported that Stair is not believed to be available for a low price as Astralis' possibilities to sign Danish players are becoming more limited. That's why Astralis couldn't get him the first time, strapped for cash already, so they had to try half a year later, which made him probably a bit cheaper. Can I guess how much money they paid for him? I can. Will I be close to being correct? I don't know. But I guess the signing was around a cool 100K if his contract was close to running out. Then his salary, I think he's definitely the lowest paid player in this team, even though I don't think he should be. I think he's one of the hardest working and most consistent. We're just gonna say he makes 10K a month, even though I'm quite sure he makes north of 10K, which comes down to 190,000 over 19 months of employment. I'm quite sure he makes north of 10K, but just so we don't inflate the numbers again, we're just gonna keep it to 10K, and over 19 months of employment, that comes down to 190,000 plus the 100K, and that comes down to around 300,000. And then they made the blockbuster signing of Stown and Yabi, or colloquially known as
map to map. I think that both Stabby and Yawn.
Hey, we're all
I knew
doing
what I
it.
was gonna say.
We're all doing.
Reports about the signing have been considerably accurate, with Play.gg stating it was a $2 million signing. What is funny is that they are definitely not worth this money, especially if you look at their recent results. And that is because Heroic, the biggest competitor of Astralis, have put on that is formerly known as an asshole tax on Astralis, just because, like all of us, they hate Astralis. So that is another 2 million down the drain. And how much is their salary? We don't know, of course, but I will be shocked if it's lower than 20k. But just so we're sure, we're gonna say 15k a month. That is 15k times 14 months times 2, because 2 players. That comes down to another 420,000. I believe it has to be more, but we're just gonna stick with this for now. Then they signed Cadian from Team Liquid. The question is though, did Cadian sign for 1 year at Team Liquid? Because he signed in December 2023 and he got bought out by Astralis in September 24. So if it's a year, then he got sold for peanuts. But if he signed for 2 years, that could have been a considerable sum, but we don't know, so I'm not gonna comment on it. For his salary, he has to definitely get 10k, if not more, but we're just gonna say 10k. For 5 months of work, that's 50,000. Then I'm gonna add another 100,000 for like the margins of salary and the buyout. This comes down to $4 million or 28,651,960 Danish kroner, just because it sounds like more. But it doesn't end there, because in Astralis, their dark period, they have missed the major 4 times. They have missed Perfect World Shanghai Major 2024, PGL Copenhagen Major 2024, painful to miss their own hometown major, Blast TV Paris Major 2023, they missed the last CSGO Major too, and IEM Rio 2022. And for each major, you miss out on the much anticipated and highly sought after divine sticker money. We don't know how much sticker money each major turned out, but we do know how much money the last CSGO major turned out, which was 4.5 million per team as reported by HLTV. It was the highest number a CSGO major has ever made. If we just say 4 million worth of sticker money at the Blast TV major and around 2 million for each other major, just to ballpark it, not to inflate it too much, we come down to 10 million in missed earnings. Not convinced? Numbers were reported even higher by bo3.gg, so the missed earnings are projected to be even higher than my estimated earnings already, which makes the total sum around 99,792,420 US dollars. Danish crown. Would have been something. And if we combine those two numbers, we can calculate how much money Astralis have spent and missed out on in the last 2 years, which is 14 million US dollars. And the signs that there are financial problems are clearly there. There have been layoffs at Astralis, including their CEO Nicola Nyom, who deservedly had to step down, but he's still on the board. In 2024, Astralis had to delist from the Nasdaq because they were just going backwards and the stock was plummeting. They made a net loss of close to 10 million Danish kroner than the year before, and their stock traded from around 9 Danish kroner in 2019 when they started to only 0.8 Danish kroner in 2022. I lived in Denmark and I can tell you, you can't buy anything with 1 Danish crown, except for Astralis stock apparently. So they had to delist from the Nasdaq because it was hurting their reputation to investors. So with all that information and with all those big numbers, can we answer the question you have been waiting for? Which is that enough for the biggest esports organization in Denmark to go bankrupt? No, not particularly. Maybe they have to put their Counter-Strike lineup on a hold? No, because they can't. It's their main esports team and their only one. They have recently dissolved their League of Legends branch when they sold their franchise spot to Carmine Corp, which was reportedly around $15 million. That $15 million has probably been used to fuel the Counter-Strike branch, and they're running out of money. So what can they do about this train that is speeding off a cliff rapidly? I don't know, and I'm happy I don't have to know. If you have some ideas what Astralis can do, share it down in the comments. I think they will be down in this video. I'm afraid they will. And this was all for entertainment purposes. I have to legally say that, alright? It's also gonna be down in the comments, alright? Alright. My name is Bert Burnington. I love talking about Counter-Strike, so subscribe to my channel, follow me on X. I will be making more videos in the future. I make videos about big events, but also topics that I am interested in that is within Counter-Strike and esports. This was a difficult video to make, and I hope if you enjoyed it that you will leave a like and a comment and maybe even consider subscribing. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you down in the comments so we can discuss this further. Also, Astralis, don't sue me. I really appreciate it, and don't flag me if you can. And I will see you all in the next video. Alright? Bye. Thank you very much.